I've brought you along to the Hamilton Gardens today. We're going to have a look in the Hamilton Gardens and show you what they've got. They've got themed gardens as well as big open areas with all the plantings that you would expect in a public garden area. So it was probably about 2 years ago they upgraded this whole arrival information room area at the Hamilton Gardens. They've got some really nice plantings around the information centre here. Ferns, that one over there, Paratanopha, which loves the damp area. The ferns and the Astelias, Nical right down the end of the stream there in the distance. Great use of hedges they have in these gardens. This is Camellia sasanqua hedge both sides. So I won't cover every single sign in these themed gardens. We'll look through them, but I won't spend hours on every single detail. Just give an overview of each garden. Rest assured they're very impressive, so I might encourage you, if you're in the area anytime, have a look. And then we come into here, so we've got the Japanese garden on our left, which we'll start with. So this is the Japanese garden with all the design and symbols and emblems that a Japanese garden characteristically shows. This is a nice relaxing part in here. I like the quiet and serenity of it, but there's great examples of Japanese elements here. We're going to the Chinese Scholars Garden now. Great surfaces they have on the paths in all of these gardens too. All different surfaces, all different entrance hedges and plantings. Azaleas down here, variety on the right and the left. Another change in pattern on the path. Great use of mondo grass there, Ophiopogon, spilling out over all these rocks. I like these glazed ceramic faux bamboo pillars. We've got a great stand of bamboo here, which you'd have to have, wouldn't you, in a Chinese garden. See the terracotta strips for the change of surface again up here once we came out of the bamboo. This is called the Golden Pavilion. The Hamilton Gardens are sited on the banks of the Waikato River, which runs from Taupo north to Port Waikato, which is southwest of Auckland City. This is the American West Modernist Garden. Yeah, I find this garden really does portray mid-century American design. These swoopy walls and the shape of this hall. The lounge chairs out. Marilyn Monroe, an pixelated sort of a picture over there. Come back in the shade a bit for this one. These big white orb sort of shapes. And even with this area here, just got that whole classic mid-century American look that we're used to seeing in older books or even on some of the very old programs. It's like the Dick Van Dyke Show, those sorts of programs, Doris Day, even those things. They often went to places like this. Let's have a look at the Italian Renaissance garden. This one's really big. I guess what I'm trying to say. Check out the path again. Just it's like a mosaic styled path. Yeah, there's construction definitely goes on with these gardens. They obviously have sponsorship, and quite often from organisations and embassies and clubs and all sorts of things to do with whichever garden it is. So this will no doubt have Italian input, including the design as well. I'll take you and show you a little side area of this Italian garden. I've seen weddings, well, I've seen the people arriving for a wedding, haven't actually seen the wedding. I've seen people arriving for the weddings into this little theatre. I think it'd be great to do a little concert here. So you come through here. Then you've got all that seating up there. The reason is seating there, I've got this low area down here, of course, but up above that tunnel we came through, got a balcony. Let's go and have a look at the Tudor Garden, England and Wales, 1485 to 1603. And this one's got 4 areas of knot gardens. Some major trimming to keep those knot gardens in place. Another big building they have there too. This sustainable backyard is quite a whimsical sort of a interesting way of using different products to make a sustainable backyard. There's all sorts of ideas for having a sustainable backyard in here, even down to decorating a seat, remote controls and cups and teaspoons, mosaic tools. Nothing's wasted. Bottles along the top. This is a great sculpture. All the paraphernalia to make it fly. They got an interesting rule chart there. What Huddleston's safety check. Obviously it's not a real ride, in case you were wondering, purely fictitious. Move into the concept garden, Mansfield garden and picturesque garden. So let's check out the concept garden. A great use of mass plantings here, big patches. I like the way that they have them all at different heights, depending on the plant species that's in each gap, so you get one virtually plain across the top of all the different plants, even though they are different height plants. We've even got the red stems of the Titoki, the electron tree. So the Mansfield garden inspired by Catherine Mansfield's famous short story, The Garden Party. This is another one of those gardens that's really had some construction and building done. It's fairly impressive, this one. Check this out. That's the classic symbols there, isn't it? So you enter this big circular driveway around the central island, the border in the middle. But wait, there's even more impressive things in the Mansfield garden. Check that out. They've got a tennis court, they've got a marquee that's set up for eating. They've got the seats around the sides, players or umpires or family, depending what the game is, to sit on. And then they've got a little setup for the band over there. Cello, violin, flute and a piano. This is one of the new gardens opening. It says mid-2026, I think September onwards. I was speaking to one of the staff when I came in. Let's have a look at the Egyptian garden now and see what it has to offer. It's quite impressive actually in here. I like these pillars with those decorative sort of like bowls on top, and then they've got that colour. Looks like a sconce all the way around. And these seats. So this is their, I think it's called the kitchen garden. I've seen it in full production, full produce. It won't take too long, it's on the way. I do like this scarecrow, I like it a lot. Got a fantail little bird on his shoulder. He's got a cheeky look in his face. Mouse pocket. Another one over in this pocket. Straw coming out of his sleeve, as every scarecrow should. This is called the Surreal Garden. Through the Looking Glass. It's all to do with visual trickery, I guess you could say. With the tiles, they look like there's big divots in the floor. There's a fireplace. It's not really a maze, but a little path you come through. So there's a monstrous wheelbarrow, and then they've got these big creatures covered in ivy, and some of them have arms that move. So on each corner they've got, it's like a big rug and it's being pulled up. Over in that corner, we've got these arms that move. Some of them are still growing with ivy. Some of those arms just sort of spasmodically move from time to time. So hopefully this gives you some idea of the scale of this wheelbarrow. Put you on long distance. See the wheel's as high as my head, a little bit higher. Giant nut down here. And over here, it's like a giant door. Of course, every good garden, surreal or not, apart from a spade, a garden fork and a wheelbarrow, needs to have a decent tap. And there she is, way up there. This is a tropical garden. Aotearoa being New Zealand in the tropics. Look at all the berries, the seeds in them hanging down off these palms. Don't appear to get frost right in this particular location in the garden, because the frosts we've had at home over the last few weeks and then again in 2 days' time apparently would have blasted a lot of these plants. So that's the themed gardens at the Hamilton Gardens. Looking quite impressive. We'll come back for part 2 for the rest of the gardens where the rhododendrons, camellias and the roses and all the other ornamentals and park sort of area is, and we'll get them when they're in full bloom.